this is Albion Street. I think that building over there is very interesting. It's the old library. But then down there and up the high street a tiny bit on the other side of the road is Temple House. And then, yeah, this is Albion Street. People have always said that it might be under this car park, the old Temple Church, but whether that's true or not, who knows. But what's interesting about Albion, just on its own, is that that was the Roman name for Britain, the original name for Britain. And there aren't that many Albion streets in the whole of the country, really, let alone down here in the south where they landed. That's interesting just on its own, so like that would make sense. Seems like we always follow where the Romans were building. From what I've noticed recently, all the monasteries have been built on top of old Roman ruins, usually bathhouses. And I think that's because, you know, the Franciscan Cluny monks, I don't know if they're the same or slightly different, but similar sort of time. They also, I think the church of the Priory of Lewis was a Franciscan or Cluniac monastery. And I'm pretty sure that they were all into their like bathing. And I think the reason they ended up in all those spots is because there were bathhouses there and you could stay clean and then not die. It was a bit of a rough time, but yeah, I'm sure they worked out that staying clean probably helped with a bit of bloodletting. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go off now. Got my coffee, got an amazing looking cake as well. You want to see this cake? Look at this thing. Oh, where are we? There we go. Oh, it's like my birthday. There's the church. Just gonna go have a look at this tower immediately and then show you that. Looks like something out of, should be like some sort of ancient library with hidden rooms in it. This tiny little cool door. I'd love to get in there and have a look. It seems like this church seriously is always shut. It's only open for a service on Sunday mornings and then that's it. I don't think I've ever managed to even get in it. This is kind of odd. Yep, shut again. Grate across the door. But yeah, here's the cool little tower with door and show you this. So there's the little door to go in, and I don't know if I can. Yeah, look at that. I'll take some better shots of it as well. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And then in there is, I think this bit here. This is where the sort of seven-sided tower starts, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is it. So yeah, this is like the seven-sided apse room here, right at the back, and then down here. So this is where there's like a row of yew trees here, beautiful old yew trees, which to me says this is a really old spot. The churches were usually built where the sort of pagan shrines of the yew trees were. It's interesting that little John thing, him being buried under a yew tree, it's like a sign of immortality, and because they never really die, not really, and then if you become a part of it, that's interesting. I thought, I like that idea as well. You know, one little root will create a whole new tree. If the whole tree falls down, it'll still grow into a new one. So it's like it's kind of like a metaphor for life. I would like to get in this church, but anyway, let me show you this thing. I'll have to stop. And then... So here we are. There's your seven-sided tower, my seven-sided tower. So it would be directly under there if it was anywhere. But then just here, oh wait. You have an entrance into a vault, the vault underneath the church, and I'm wondering if somehow you get in there and then go right and into this seven-sided altar room. But the other thing is that Walter Hines Godfrey also built the altar in this church, and it's always covered over. You can't actually see what it looks like really, and it looks very similar to the one at Hamsey. It's a very impressive church, this. Beautiful old building. Although it was built in, I think it was like 1852 or something that they started it, and then it was completed sort of 19 something or other, 30 odd, somewhere around then. Don't quote me on those dates, but it's roughly then. I do love a yew tree. Yeah, I really would like to have a look in here one day, and yeah, might have to come for a Sunday morning service at some point, just to kind of like get in the church, just to see what it looks like, maybe see the altar. So here's another First World War thing, and this John Bridger Schiffner seems to be a big part of this community back then. Brooks, Percy J, that's well, these are people that died in the war. I've always wondered about this big old mound over here. That one over there. Yeah, and whether or not that is natural. I've got a feeling that it might not be. It could be something quite amazing buried in there. Possibly, but who knows. But yeah, this is the good view of the whole church. Really is beautiful. Yeah, I would love to get into that little tower though and have a look up there and see what they've got stored away in there, unless it's just literally a way to get into the belfry, the bell tower. Yeah, it looks like some sort of old cloister where you could like store lots of old books and arcanum. Just my imagination, probably. Very likely in that instance. Look at those clouds today, it's kind of amazing. I've always thought that this field, there's probably like an awful lot of archaeology in here. Tons of it. There's Offham Hill there, with a kind of like little flat area right up in the distance. I think it's right in the middle there. There's kind of like, it looks like a kind of burial ground or a settlement area or something. Worth going up there. And then to the left is the chalk pit, the main big chalk pit. But the sea would have come basically to the foot of this field, so this field would therefore have been kind of like the get out of your boat, walk into dry land area. I do think that this was the harbour, so if you're ever going to find some really good archaeology, I think it would be here. Randomly you got some digger guy out there at the moment doing tons of stuff. I don't know what they're actually doing. Wonder if it's another ruse about we got to do this, but actually they're doing archaeology like they did over at Bridge Farm and everywhere else. That happens all the time, so wouldn't surprise me at all. But the reason I came over here was to have a look at this view. That one. And that's in relation, so you see the church over there. This is in relation to a Nicholas Poussin picture. It's not actually the one I thought it was. There's one that he did called Man Killed by Snake, which I thought was in relation to Ragnar and Beowulf mystery. But this other one is just a completely different one, but it shows like Roman ruins and a man sitting by and you're next to a bridge, and all those features, including the hill, are, I think, you know, the Roman features were there, or perhaps he was imagining that idea. No, we don't even know that he was actually here, you know, but I think that the Shepherdess No Temptation, Poussin Tenier hold the clue, hold the key, pack 681. You might not know what the hell I'm talking about. It's the Shepherds of Arcadian myth. I think it's all in relation to this, and his pictures seem to match up with this sort of hill view, and that's Morling Hill in the background. Loads of people have talked about that in Rennes le Chateau. Oh, it matches up definitely with the other one until we actually find something. Don't know, but it is kind of curious, those two lengths, the snake and the man killed by snake specifically, not just snake. Like man killed by snake, and then the Roman ruins, and then that in connection to all of the things that I've been talking about is quite unusual. I thought I'd just quickly tell people what it is that I'm trying to do, because I can imagine people are kind of like picking up into like some of the stories that I've put up and they've never seen them before, and they must be thinking, what the fuck is this bloke talking about? I really don't blame you for being confused, don't worry if you are, but I am trying to connect Hamsey Church as a place of serious significance, and I think that a lot of stuff went on there. Incredibly important historical events occurred in and around that area and in Lewes that have all been kind of like either forgotten about. There's like lots of possibilities. They've been completely forgotten about. Some people do know about it, and they're just keeping it secret from the rest of us. And people would be like, oh wow, that sounds conspiratorial, but there are reasons that might be, and I'll explain that right now. So there's like 6 active Masonic societies in Lewes. They are up at the top of Lewes High Street. There's an old Masonic building. That building is opposite Tom Paine's house, which is Bull House. That's now the Sussex Archaeology Centre. They're right opposite each other, and there seems to be an awful lot of kind of like in the know people in Lewes, like that kind of run it, and they're all very Masonic. I think a lot of that is also connected perhaps into the Bonfire Society's people. But it seems to be a lot of stuff that's been kind of like either undiscovered, not. It seems too odd. Like it took them 10 years to report on a Viking execution burial ground up on the hill there. A lot of information on the place has now disappeared. When I first started searching for it, it was all like, yeah, Hamsey was AL settlement, Morling Hill was like a part of his home. Yeah, the Romans are all buried up there. Yeah, there was about all of that stuff's gone now. Every time I've kind of like found this stuff, it's disappeared, which has made me think again, like, why? It's kind of odd. So like you can see conspiracy everywhere, but they do exist. You know, these things actually do happen. People have conspired as a group of people to keep secrets. You know, like just now we see that as something like to be scorned at, because that's exactly what these people want you to feel. It's kind of clever, but like, you know, calling everything a conspiracy is ridiculous, but thinking that there aren't any, that's also ridiculous. You know, like we know throughout the whole of history, the more you study history, the more you can see it's like there's tons and tons of conspiracies that have gone on. But I'm trying to prove that something amazing not only occurred there, but possibly is still there, and like lots of things. So like, you know, and that's why I've written the books about it. So I don't feel like I can explain the whole thing all in one go. There's too many pieces of a puzzle that I've kind of put together, but they all seem to link around this church, or at least that bit of land there. And it's incredible, you know. I feel like I've been walking through history. I still am, you know, and time. It's like time travelling around here. It's mad, all the stuff I've been discovering all through these eras: the Romans, the Saxons, early Saxons, late Saxons, the Beowulf thing, the Templars, Thomas Paine. It goes on and on and on, like all these amazing people that have been around here, and it all seems to have just kind of like been either swept under the rug or just forgotten about. It's quite curious. There's a lot of like oddities here, but anyway, I still think there's stuff to be found. Really, really important, incredible stuff to be found here, like physically, not just like stories, you know. And that's really what I'm trying to find out. It's what I'm trying to get to, is to get the story out there, and then eventually to find out about this stuff, like for real, with archaeologists. And who knows whether that'll ever happen, but the book, the Beowulf book that I'm about to bring out, will explain so much of it. I mean, once you've read that, if you still don't think like, oh, there's probably something to this, then you're just in denial. It's like, it's very clear. There's too many pieces of evidence. It's like I've got about like 50 pieces of evidence to prove that the Beowulf story was real and that it probably happened here, you know. Like it's you know, written evidence that's on the land and in charters and all these incredible things. And I've been fortunate enough to sort of like stumble onto this stuff, and I want people to share in our real history. Wouldn't it be, you know, for me it's like, wouldn't it be great, I know now, like, but wouldn't it be great to prove a myth was actually a real thing? You know, to prove that a mythical character was actually a real Anglo-Saxon king that's been just sort of like swept away for some reason, and that those clues are all quite obvious. Yeah, it's very strange. It's very odd, but that's what I'm trying to do. So in case anybody is like, what's he on about? What are you doing? I'm trying to explain all the little parts of that, the whole story. It's like, and each little video I'm putting up is just like one tiny jigsaw piece that will eventually create like a picture of history and of myth and all these other things. But if you only have one piece, it's like you can't really tell what that is. Once you've got 50 of them, you can start seeing a picture, and once you've got all 1,000, then you can see the big picture, and it's like, wow, wow. You know, this is incredible stuff, and it's excited me to the point of like not wanting to give up on it. You know, I've been searching for this stuff since I was a little boy, and then I just walked away from all of that stuff, fascinated by it, and then like 35 something years later, nearly 40 now, here I am finding all this stuff. It just all suddenly came to me all at once. It's very strange, really odd. Everything to do with this is odd, but they picked the right guy, because like, I know I'm not a very straight up normal person, like, I definitely not. Anyone that's really met me has probably realised that, yeah, I'm not really like normal. And I'm okay with that. Like, you know, I don't fit in with the kind of 95%. I never have, never. Like, I've always questioned things that other people just take for granted. It's like, you know, I always find life, there's all these like, obvious things, and I'm like, what? And other people just accept it as like, yeah, that's like 100%. You should, just how you live. It's just how you live. It's just how it is. It's like, and I'm like, I was just born on this planet to like grow up, be told how everything is, only be told it, like not actually find out for myself. And once I leave there, I've just got to go straight on, either get myself in debt or get a job, and then just pay someone I don't know shitloads of money just to exist for the rest of my life. And if I don't do that, I go to jail. There's something a bit wrong about that, isn't there? Like, it seems like, can no one else see that? Like, it seems like, you know, I didn't come here to be like a free-range human, just on a tax farm of Earth, just to give it to a load of corrupt people to then give away to some warring country somewhere else. Like, none of it makes sense to me, and other people just seem to go along with it all. It's like, you know, I feel like this is the fakest place in the whole world, our societies and everything at the moment, and the people go along with it all is the bit that disturbs me. It's like, it's very odd. Like, you know, like I say, I don't fit in with most people and most ways that other people think. You must go along with what's normal. People don't like it when they're sort of their realities are slightly threatened by like truth generally. It's like, no. Anyway, that's why I'm doing it, and if anyone's interested in finding out, I'm here. Just talk to me about it. If you've got any questions about any of this shit that I'm talking about, or want to see it, just talk to me. I'll take you there. I'm a nice person, you know, like I really am a nice person. I'll be kind, and you know, if you want to come see it, talk to me. I'll take you around to any of these places. I'm not trying to keep any of this secret. I want everyone to enjoy our history as it really was, not how we're told it is.